Okay, so my name is Andrew Green. I work here at Married Fish. We are recruiting, by the way, so if you want to see afterwards. I live here. I'm from Australia. This week we talk about matters on the web and where it matters most. Because presentations usually have titles. This one's called Mind Your Manners 1, 2, 3, and it does have overlaps with Joe's presentation, as everyone said. This is bad manners. One of my favourite photos. But first, I promised a freak show with the title. And so I've got to do a bit of that. So this is Clippy and Friends. This is Clippy. I don't know if you guys ever saw these other freaks that he hung out with. Like this weird cat. He's looking a bit dodgy there. That was 97. They upgraded and they put in some more people. And I mean, it's okay. Clippy looks a little bit happier, but this guy here is kind of weird. Look at that. You know. So I really want to talk about manners. This is my first computer. It was an Amstrad C464. It was a really polite computer. It said things to me like, you can probably see that there, ready. That was nice. That was really cool. I was quite young, and that was a nice way to sort of have a first interaction with a computer. My favourite game was Brian Blood Axe. I don't know if anyone played that. Before it loaded, it had this cool things where it would actually load up and say things like, blow gently on the keyboard, and then it would pause, and you were a kid, you'd go and blow on it, and then it would load up. And obviously, that was just the coolest thing, and that kind of, I really liked that. I was 7, you know, it seemed nice. It was the only game I Amstrad, but let me blow the keys though to sort of start. That was kind of strange. Well, let's actually twist it around. So, thank you. So it brings me to my first level of manners that I said I was going to do 3. The first one is, if you're building an application like Brian Blood Axe, you can pretty much set the rules in here and be as nice as you want, as you know, unnice as you want. Number 2, fast forward 20 years. So one day I was presenting some work. This is my awesome Six Sigma presentation that I was giving to some people. And anyway, I was there in front of all these C-level people, and oh no, my animation didn't work. Damn, I actually had an animation coming up here. I'll have to sort of improvise here with my hand. It was a little pop-up that kind of came up with my mate Ben, who's like really swearing at me about something that I did wrong in the middle of the presentation, which kind of led me to my second level of manners, which is, so this is my friend's instant message coming in through and sort of colliding through my stratosphere of my instant messenger and into PowerPoint, and kind of being really aggressive. The point is, you really have to watch your manners here when this stuff happens. Like when you've got two things colliding, two contexts colliding there, it can be really scary. So, third one, manners are more about context. Like you're on a train, get out of my way, I'm getting off the train. Sometimes context can be being set, sometimes about context being set, that doesn't make sense. The social web is constantly resetting context, actually probably a better way to put it. For example, Last.fm, my shoutbox up there, I've been using Last.fm for ages, and I didn't get an email notification when someone put something in my shoutbox. For ages, until Facebook wall notifications kind of came into my world, and I started getting all of these notifications from Facebook, and then in September 11th, the Last.fm floodgates opened, and they decided they'd do the same thing. A new context was established, and I got all these Last.fm, shoutbox notices in my inbox. It was really strange, and I felt like they'd kind of overstepped the barrier there with their manners. A new context for manners was set from social sites. So the mailbox was no longer a no-go zone for my social sites. So they didn't really understand my context. They didn't respect my context. But there's another side of this as well. You don't want to leave me hanging. Sometimes I want to need to know when I'm playing Scrabulous, which isn't a very productive but very excellent application, that it's in fact my turn. I'm really bad at this because I play with people from Australia. My mates get really upset at me, and I need a bit of a nudge sometimes. So I love it how they put this little nudge tool in here. It's something that they put in, I think, version 2 or 3. And by the way, Mary is here. You're actually due up. So what are the rules of conduct? Well, they're changing, and it's kind of nervous. There's a bit of I sort of get a bit nervous because there's all these social sites coming in, like we've sort of been talking about today. Actually, it kind of seems like a bit of a theme. That our experience is becoming more social. The contexts are changing. For example, and this won't work because of pop-ups, but I did a bit of a walkthrough of the new Facebook app ad thing that's kind of happening at the moment. So you sign up and you sign up to Yelp. And I'm going to give a review of Gorilla Coffee. I give the review. Looks pretty normal, doesn't it? No, what the hell is that? There's this little thing that pops up here, which is actually a Facebook application, Facebook little riser that kind of comes up and says, I'll give you a close up. It says, Yelp is sending this to your Facebook profile. Andrew reviewed Gorilla Coffee on Yelp. Learn more, this isn't me, no thanks, close. It's kind of confusing. It doesn't really know what my context is, and this is a very, very good place to start minding your manners. So this brings me to my third point, the social level. Not only, we don't have the things that's very sending on its own and something coming in like an instant messenger, we've now got all these things like Yelp, and this is only two, hitting each other. And that's where you've got to mind your manners. Really, really and truly mind your manners there. That's like sacred space. This is what Facebook says about their social ads. You know, you can read it. That sounds really nice. But it's rude, right? It's definitely creepy. And I always have like a bit of a litmus test with this, that would it be creepy to do this if it popped up on my desktop? And I actually had a little animation which probably won't work, but I had the, it was awesome. I spent hours on it. That's gone. But basically the little Facebook app came up in my Facebook, and it looked creepy because it probably is creepy. But of course other professions have thought about this, architecture in context. I mean, read about this movement, it's awesome. But I've also been thinking about interaction in context as a way of thinking as well. That my computer is a living organism. There's my own strategy, it is being evolving. So there's a lot of challenges for us UX and interaction people. Challenge one, context is hard to ascertain. Tom Armitage's got a great presentation on that. If you want to check it out, I'll be talking about it later. Challenge two, can you teach manners? Kinda. When do you challenge manners? This is a big one. Thank you for listening to me. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.